Now, school pupils will be asked to use toilet facilities which correspond to their biological sex rather than ones they feel most comfortable with under updated guidance. The Scottish Government says the refreshed rules give schools more confidence in the provision of toilet facilities and help them support transgender children. Well, our political reporter Laura Alderman joins us now. And Laura, what more can you tell us about this?
Well, the Scottish Government says that for pupils and staff heading into schools like this one, the rules around toilets and changing facilities will now be a lot clearer. Because until today, those rules were that pupils and staff should use the facilities they felt the most comfortable with. The issue then being that could create a situation makes other people uncomfortable. Now, you might be wondering, how did we get here? Well, amidst the wider gender debate, this stems back to a decision made by the Supreme Court in April surrounding the definition of a woman. Now, judges unanimously ruled in favour of campaign group Women for Women Scotland, declaring the words women and sex in the 2010 Equality Act refers to a biological woman and biological sex, not to a certified gender like someone who has a gender recognition certificate, as the Scottish Government had argued. But that ruling then meant that public bodies had to rethink and update their own guidance around facilities like toilets and changing rooms. Now, shortly before we came on air tonight, I spoke to the Education Secretary, who told me that over the summer months she'd been speaking with COSLA and trade unions, and she explained the updated guidance.
I think it's really important that every pupil in Scotland is able to reach their potential, and every pupil, of course, deserves our support in doing that. So our updated guidance means that all of their individual needs will be respected. All schools are required to provide separate toilets for girls and boys. And in addition, the guidance makes very clear that councils should give careful consideration to the individual needs of transgender pupils.
And Laura, what are campaigners on both sides saying on the issue?
Well, some are saying that this will lead to additional stress for children and staff who may be transgender. And when looking at the guidance, it's clear that local authorities and school will have to be very careful when making that extra provision for those who are transgender, so as not to accidentally out them or identify them publicly. For Women Scotland told me just before we came on air that they were glad the Scottish Government had recognised the importance of the Supreme Court's decision, and the Scottish Conservatives, who have been opposed to gender reforms from day one, said that the guidance is contradictory and potentially harmful. Now, whatever one's individual view on this might be, it's clear that schools and councils now know what the rules are going forward.
All right, with the latest, thank you very much, Laura.